guys, Charli Gause here with Wieck Realty. I am a designer and I'm also a realtor, and this is Fireside Chat. Now, it's been a while since I've actually done this video series, so we're just gonna do a reboot, and we're calling this Season 2, Episode 1. And on this week's episode, we're talking about all the different things your realtor wish you knew. And we're going to make this a series within this series. So on this week's episode, we are talking about buyers. So if you're in the market at maybe buying your first home, your second home, you have no idea where to start, this is going to be some good information that you're going to want to know. So let's get right into it. Number one, get a realtor. Obviously, I'm a realtor telling you to get a realtor, but it's not just because I want that big commission check or anything of that nature. It's I am here to protect you. So, I hear a lot of times that people say, hey, if you go with the listing agent, you're going to get a better deal. Guess what? One thing I want you to know about that is the fact that if you do that, you get zero representation. There is no way for a realtor to represent both the listing side and the buyer side. You just can't do it. So definitely not necessarily money saving for you. The other thing I want you to know is that as a buyer, 99% of the time, I'm not going to say all the time, but my fee as your realtor is going to be paid by the sellers. That's already a part of the listing agreement. Now, there are some cases here and there where that kind of gets to be a no negotiation thing, but don't let that stop you. Talk and be open with your agent. If those situations come up, they're gonna have a conversation with you. We're gonna figure it out, because at the end of the day, we want what's best for you and your family. With that too, I want you to know that the other main thing about hiring an agent is you're getting a partnership, right? So this is the other thing I hear a lot. Hey, so I don't wanna bug you all the time, but I kind of want to see this house, but I already asked my other friend who's a realtor, or I just, whatever. Here's the thing. When you commit to me, I commit to you. And so we become a partnership. I'm here to hold your hand, walk you through the entire process to make it easier for you. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to protect you. So hire a realtor. Make sure that you're committed to them. Don't talk to more than one. It's just not a good thing. Not a good thing. All right. So with that being said too, when you hire a realtor, when you do get into those hairy situations, just know that I've built relationships over the last several years with title agents, lenders, inspectors, different tradespeople. And so when things come up, I have a caveat of, or a lot of different people that can go to and be like, hey, I've got the situation. What can we do? Okay. Number two, you've got to get pre-approved. Like, I would love to show you every house in the neighborhood, or neighborhoods plural, but I just don't have time. I mean, I love houses. I get excited about design. I want to show you that one that's historic and awesome with that one staircase and all of the different things. However, what's in your best interest is to get pre-approved. And the reason for that is, let's make sure we know our budget, our area. So let's stay within that. If you start going outside of your pre-approved amount, you may find something that is like your dream home thing, but it's not in the realm of what you can actually get. So let's focus on you, and let's focus on what we can do within your budget. You also have, I believe it's 2 weeks after you get pre-approved to go and you can shop your lender. And it's not going to ding your credit report. I almost said your credit card. It shouldn't ding your credit card, but it won't ding your credit report again. But it's in your best interest to shop around. Most local lenders here, which I, side note, would highly recommend you staying with. And the reason for that is we have a face-to-face person. We can get with them. They're within reach if something is happening sometimes, and this is not to knock any national lender at all, or any lender for that matter, but when there's things happening we may have to like play phone tag with all these different departments, and we're not going to talk to the same person. With a local lender, you have a dedicated person that you can talk to and a dedicated team, and they have a lot of times they have in-house underwriting, or it's just a lot more accessible and streamlined. So that's my side note on that. Going back to pre-approval, if you go with a local lender, most of them they're going to be pretty competitive with their interest rates. However, they have different loan products, different types of things that are going to be different, like, going to help you out depending on your situation. So if you are self-employed, there's some lenders specifically for that. There might be some grant programs if you're a first-time home buyer, or if you're a police officer or a nurse. There's all these different things. If you're a veteran, there's all these different loan products. So let's find what's best for you, your needs, and your family, okay? So that's the big thing. Number 3, I touched on budget, but I want to bring it up again. A lot of times you're pre-approved for more than what you really want to spend. So when you get that pre-approval letter, one of the first questions I'm going to ask is, what do you ideally want to spend a month? And I don't want you to be house poor, so we're going to stick to that budget as much as possible. But with that being said, I know not sometimes, when you're getting a mortgage and you're getting a new house, you kind of feel naked. Like, everyone's seeing the skeletons in your closet. However, remember I said that I'm your partner, so I need you to be upfront and honest with me. So be honest about your budget. Let's be like totally transparent, and let's really work to get the house for you. That is the main thing. Also with that, I'm going to be your accountability partner. So if you say, we're to budget, we're working on these things for the future, we really want to stick within this price range, guess what? We're going to stick within that price range unless maybe we exhaust all the details, exhaust all the houses, and then I'll say, hey, I saw this one, but let's go, check it out. But I want to be respectful of your budget. I'm not going to just go say, hey, I'm going to show all these houses that are way more expensive just because I can make more money, whatever. I want to stick, it's all about you guys, okay? And what's best for you and your family. All right. When you get it pre-approved, there are some things that you make sure and not do. One of which is please do not open a new line of credit. Do not go buy a new truck. Do not go buy furniture for that house that we just got a contract on and have not fully purchased. Don't change anything with your finances. Just try to keep it as consistent as possible. Also, another one that may sound a little funny, don't change jobs. Even if it's a higher paying job, and sometimes even if it's with the same company, if you get an offer for something like that, make sure and bring it one to your lender and two to your agent, and let's figure out what the best way to protect you is, because that's a good way to lose your pre-approval, believe it or not, even if you're making more money, because they want to make sure there's not any gaps with employment and things of that nature. So it's super important. In fact, when I have buyers, I usually have them sign the buyer 10 commandments. It's a lot of stuff like that, but it's there to protect you. So you understand that those things can adversely affect you being approved for your mortgage. With that being said too, a lot of times if something does happen, you lose your job, just come tell me. That's the best way I can do to protect you. Speaking, another thing with budget, we're going to go to number 5. It's related to budget, but be realistic. Be realistic with your offer. Be realistic with your negotiations, whether it be closing costs or, maybe it's a lot of repairs that you need. Let's just be realistic about it. So a lot of times when I'm showing houses, we get in there and people get excited and they're like, okay, but they did X, Y, and Z to this house. I'm like, I don't know. This is maybe my first or second time to it. I haven't had an offer on it. I haven't had a client do inspections, so I don't necessarily know. So let's go find out. Let's do our inspections. If there's something on the inspection report that is concerning to you, maybe it's plumbing, maybe it's electrical, or something in that nature, let's call in those experts to break it down, and then let's go to the negotiation table and let's make sure that 1, we really know what's going on, 2, we know how much it's going to cost, and 3, we just set you up for success for the best negotiations possible. So it's really thing I can tell you with that. So, oh, with that being said too, I know a lot of times people ask me, so just whenever you see a good deal, or what's it like, I just really need a good deal on this, or what's a good deal? Well, the thing about it is, we need to go back to your motivation, like your wants, your needs. Like, are you needing a house for your family? Are you have a baby on the way? Are you needing to downsize because a kiddo moved out? Maybe you're getting divorced. Maybe if it's in state, all these different things. There are so many different facets to what goes into what's the best thing for you. So it always goes down to what you're willing to pay and what you want. That's the best deal. What is a great deal to me and my family might not be a great deal for you. Now, with that being said, I will say that it's a little bit different if it's like, hey, I think this is grossly overpriced. I'm going to tell you, because we're going to pull a market analysis on that property so you make sure you know what you're buying. That's a little bit different than like, hey, let's get a deal on this. So I want to make sure that's kind of clear, and I hope that is clear. With that, I also want to bring up appraisals. And a lot of times I get clients and say, well, I looked on Prad and I know that this house is overpriced $20,000 or $30,000. Well, and those of you who do not know what Prad is, let me explain. That is the appraisal district for Potter and Randall County here in Amarillo, Texas, in Canyon area. So the one thing I wanted you to know is there's different types of appraisals. There's insurance appraisal, which has to do with you getting insurance on your property and like them assessing your damage and replacement costs and everything else. So that is one. And typically with the mortgage and stuff like that, I'm not dealing with that. The lender's not dealing with that. That's more for the insurance side, okay? The second kind of appraisal is market appraisal. Now, the only person that can tell you what your house is actually worth is someone who is licensed to do an appraisal. I am not licensed to do appraisal. I am licensed as a realtor, but not an appraisal. What I can do is a market analysis and pull what I see that has sold in the last 6 months. That's what I can provide for you. The appraiser is the one that goes through and says, hey, this is actually what this property is worth. And they're doing that on the behalf of the bank to ensure that they know what they're purchasing on your behalf, because they have way more apples in the basket than you do when you go to buy a house, depending on how much you put down. Now, you put down like 70%, that's a different story. But if you're putting down 5 to 20%, they're really going to be sticklers on that. And a lot of that goes down to federal guidelines too. But that's for another day. But I just want to break it down that there are different types of appraisals. The other one is tax appraisal, and that's the one that has to do with the appraisal district. That's local. Now, we are in Texas, and in Texas, you do not have to disclose what you bought or sold a property for. And that's actually a good thing, and let me tell you why. Let's say my house, I purchased it for $300,000, okay? The appraisal district has it evaluated at $280,000. Now that's a $20,000 difference. That's a huge difference. So I can see how people go about and they say, okay, well, they just want this extra money over here, but that's not what's happening, okay? That's actually a good thing. So that means that I purchased the home for $300,000. However, my tax base is $280,000. I'm actually saving a tax base of $20,000 on annual property taxes. So that's actually a really good thing. The only time I would ever say to let the appraisal district know what you paid on the property is if you paid less than what they have it evaluated at. That is the only time I would ever open my mouth and say, hey, let me just let everyone know I bought this property for X amount of dollars. So just keep that in mind. You can lower your taxes if you, let's say it was the reversal. The appraisal district had it at $300,000 and I bought the property for $280,000. I for sure would want to pick up the phone and say, hey, appraisal district, guess what? I bought this property for $280,000. That is the only time I'd open my mouth to say that. But anyways, these are just some tips and tricks that I think that I come across a lot when people are talking to me, and I just want to share them along. I definitely want to keep doing these videos. I love doing them and forgot how much I love doing them, so let's keep this going. So next week on Friday we'll have season 2, episode 2, and I'll give you a heads up about what we'll be talking about. But if there's if there's ever anything that you want me to cover or someone for me to interview, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to set that up and arrange it, do the research, do whatever we need to do to get it done. So until next time, hope you guys have a great weekend, and we'll be seeing you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.